Have you ever wondered what happens when a cold, calculating CEO decides to outsmart his own mother, but ends up falling head over heels instead? Well, that's exactly what today's story is about: a fake marriage that turns into something far more real than anyone expected. But here's the thing: this isn't just about corporate deals and family drama. It's about trust, vulnerability, and what happens when two very different worlds collide. Stay with me. You won't want to miss how this one unfolds. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you love thought-provoking love stories with a twist of human psychology and business intrigue, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive right in. Meet Isnt Caldwell. On the surface, he's your textbook alpha CEO, sharp suit, sharper mind. At just 29, he's already transformed Caldwell Industries into a global powerhouse, landing deals people twice his age wouldn't even dare to chase. But underneath all that success, a man who doesn't believe in love. Not one bit. Why? Well, childhood scars run deep. Ethan watched his father, Richard Caldwell, tear the family apart, a betrayal that left his mother, Margaret Caldwell, both bitter and fiercely determined. From then on, Ethan saw love as nothing more than a transactional exchange. Marriage, just a contract. Romance, a dangerous illusion. But as life would have it, sometimes those old beliefs get challenged in the most unexpected ways. Now here's where the real tension begins. Margaret isn't just Ethan's mother, she's a powerhouse in her own right. She's built her entire life around the idea of securing their family legacy, and in her eyes, a proper heir like Ethan needs to have a proper family. No exceptions. After countless failed matchmaking attempts, Margaret finally pulls the ultimate card: get married within a year, or lose your inheritance. Now, for context, Ethan doesn't exactly need the money. He's wealthy beyond imagination already, but letting his mother control him? That's a game he refuses to play. So what does a logical, emotionally detached CEO do? He devises a plan: a fake marriage. A perfect solution: no messy emotions, no real commitment. Just a year-long contract to keep his mother satisfied and his freedom intact. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, a life worlds apart from Ethan's, we meet Olivia Parker. At 25, she's not making million-dollar deals. She's trying to survive, juggling shifts at a small sandwich shop to pay off her late parents' debts. And yet Olivia isn't your typical damsel in distress. She's sharp, resourceful, and carries herself with a quiet resilience. In fact, this part of the story really struck a chord with me. I've met countless people who, like Olivia, have had to put their dreams on hold to simply make ends meet. It's a reminder that success and struggle aren't always visible on the surface. Olivia had once dreamed of becoming a novelist, a life of words and imagination. But fate had other plans. 4 years ago, a tragic accident took her parents and left her with crippling debt. Since then, life has been about survival, not passion. Their worlds collide in the most ordinary of places: the local sandwich shop. Picture this: Ethan, fresh from a tense boardroom battle, steps in for a quick coffee. Olivia, rushing between tables, barely registers the sharply dressed man at first, until, of course, he opens his mouth. Black coffee, no sugar. His tone leaves no room for negotiation. But here's where it gets interesting. Olivia isn't intimidated. When Ethan complains about his coffee, which was made exactly as ordered, she stands her ground. That small moment of defiance, it's what catches Ethan's attention. In a world where everyone tiptoes around him, Olivia's authenticity is like a breath of fresh air. And this is where many real-life entrepreneurs and leaders could take note. Sometimes the people who challenge you, not the ones who flatter you, are the ones you should be paying attention to. Later that same day, Ethan returns, but not for coffee. He makes an offer that leaves Olivia stunned. Pretend to be my wife for a year. You'll be well compensated. At first, Olivia laughs it off. It sounds absurd, right? But then the reality of her situation hits her. The money Ethan is offering could finally free her from debt, maybe even give her a shot at rebuilding her life. After a moment of internal battle and a piercing gaze from Ethan that seems to read her mind, Olivia says yes. And just like that, the game is on. Have you ever had a moment where pretending led to something unexpectedly real? Please comment below and like this video. If you believe the best love stories start with honesty, subscribe our channel now for more powerful story-based videos every day. 1 week later, Olivia steps into a world she's never known, Ethan's sprawling modern mansion. But beneath the glossy surfaces lies a cold, sterile environment. No warmth, no life, just perfection and order. And this contrast is something I think many viewers can relate to. Ever been in a space that looks beautiful on the outside, but feels empty on the inside? That's exactly what Olivia experiences here. From day one, the tension is palpable. Ethan's rigid routines clash with Olivia's more spontaneous nature. When she innocently rearranges the fridge one morning, Ethan reacts as if she's committed a crime. If you want to live here, you have to respect the rules, he says, arms crossed. Fine, Mr. Perfectionist. I'll try not to mess up your perfect little world. Olivia fires back. It's a battle of wills, and neither side is willing to surrender. Things escalate quickly when Margaret pays a surprise visit. Olivia has to step fully into her role as Ethan's doting wife, and the pressure is immense. One wrong move, and the entire charade could come crashing down. Ethan, sensing Olivia's nerves, does something unexpected. He pulls her close in front of his mother, sending a clear message: we're in this together. Now here's an interesting parallel I've seen in real relationships. Sometimes it's the small gestures of protection and solidarity that lay the foundation for deeper trust. Even when the relationship is supposed to be fake. And that brings us to a crucial turning point, the moment where a cold contract starts to blur with genuine emotion. In the next part, we'll explore how Ethan and Olivia's dynamic evolves with some real-life lessons about connection, trust, and what happens when you open yourself up to the unexpected. Previously, we saw how a contract marriage brought two complete opposites, a cold CEO and a struggling waitress under one roof. But as anyone who's experienced life knows, the most unexpected relationships can teach us the most about ourselves. And for Ethan and Olivia, this so-called game is about to get a lot more real. Just 2 days into this arrangement, another test arrives, but this time it isn't planned. Picture this: Olivia, arms full of documents, is descending the grand staircase when she loses her footing. Instinct kicks in, she braces for the fall. But instead of the cold marble floor, she lands in Ethan's arms. Now, if you've ever had a moment where time seems to freeze, this is one of those moments for both of them. Their eyes meet, breaths quicken, and in that instant, the boundaries of their contract seem to blur. You should be more careful, Ethan says softly, but he doesn't let go right away. Here's something worth reflecting on often. It's in these unguarded moments, a slip, a glance, a simple gesture, that real emotions sneak through. You can't schedule connection. You can't control it. It just happens. In the days that follow, Olivia starts noticing subtle changes in Ethan's behavior. He no longer critiques her for every small imperfection in the house. When she gets lost on the way to the supermarket, instead of scolding her, He patiently comes to pick her up. And then comes the night that changes everything. Olivia falls ill with a high fever. Now remember, this is a man who built walls to keep emotions out. Yet here he is, staying up all night, tending to her, cooling her forehead, making sure she takes her medicine. And perhaps the most telling moment of all, when she wakes to find him asleep by her bedside, still holding her hand. For anyone who's ever cared for someone else during a vulnerable moment, you know this isn't about a contract anymore. This is about genuine connection. I've seen similar situations in real life, especially among high achievers or those with CEO mindsets. Him. They often live behind emotional armor, efficient, focused, and control, but introduce vulnerability, introduce care, and suddenly the walls come down. This is why trust and intimacy aren't built through grand gestures, but through small, consistent acts of presence and kindness. That's what Ethan is learning here, even if he doesn't fully admit it yet. Things come to a head at a Caldwell Industries charity event. At first, Ethan does what he always does, works. The room entertains business partners, but his focus keeps drifting. Where's Olivia? When he spots her laughing with a charming young businessman, something unexpected stirs inside him: jealousy, that raw, uninvited emotion. Without thinking, Ethan strides over, places a hand on Olivia's waist, and asserts himself. Thanks for keeping my wife entertained, but I think it's time she came back to me. Olivia is stunned. So is Ethan, truth be told. Because in that moment, it's not just about maintaining appearances. His reaction is personal, and it scares him. In the days that follow, Ethan starts showing even more signs of genuine care, almost without realizing it. He notices how Olivia likes her coffee. He remembers her dislike of onions. He brings home her favorite strawberry tarts after a long day. This is the kind of relational intelligence we often talk about but rarely practice. It's about seeing the other person, not just looking at them. It's about understanding their small joys, their comfort zones, their quirks. That's when relationships deepen, and Ethan is learning this on the fly. Quick personal story here. I once coached a couple where one partner, a busy entrepreneur, thought grand romantic gestures were the key to keeping the relationship strong. But what actually mattered most to the other partner: small, consistent acts of attention, remembering her favorite snack, noticing when she was stressed, asking about her day. The same applies here. Ethan's strawberry tarts carry far more weight than any expensive gift he could have offered. At another company event, the tension rises again. This time, an old family friend questions why Ethan and Olivia never show affection in public. All eyes turn to them, including Margaret's sharp gaze. Without missing a beat, Ethan gently squeezes Olivia's hand and leans in for a kiss. Now here's the kicker. This wasn't a rehearsed move. The kiss is soft, genuine. And for both of them, it sends shock waves through their carefully constructed roles. Olivia is left shaken. Ethan too. Because when you cross that line, even if it's for show, it's hard to uncross it emotionally. In the days that follow, Olivia starts pulling away. Her heart is in turmoil. This was supposed to be a simple arrangement. Now it feels dangerously real. She avoids breakfast with Ethan, stops speaking to him in the evenings. Distance becomes her defense. And here's an insight many can relate to sometimes: when we start feeling something deeper than we expected, our first instinct is to retreat. Fear takes over. Vulnerability is scary, especially when the stakes feel this high. As if things weren't complicated enough in walks, Claire, Ethan's ex, elegant and sharp-eyed. If this is just a contract, why are you playing the role so well? She teases, eyes fixed on Ethan. For Olivia, this moment is devastating. Doubts swirl. Was Ethan ever sincere? Is she just a pawn in a corporate game? Feeling hurt and foolish, Olivia begins to distance herself even further, and this time emotionally as well. As part two closes, a central question looms large. Are Ethan and Olivia falling for each other? Or are they both trapped in a role that was never supposed to feel real? We'll explore that next, along with one of the most relatable lessons about love loss and learning to confront your true feelings. So far, we've seen Ethan and Olivia's relationship evolve from a calculated contract to an increasingly emotional connection, complicated by jealousy, small moments of care, and a surprise visit from Ethan's ex. But when fear and misunderstanding pull them apart, both must confront the truth about what they really want. Let's dive into the final act where everything comes to a head. After Claire's pointed remarks, Olivia withdraws even further. Breakfasts alone, silent dinners, and an unmistakable tension fills the mansion. One evening, unable to hold it in any longer, Olivia confronts Ethan. I'm just part of this contract, nothing more, right? Ethan is stunned. For the first time, he struggles for words. And here's the brutal truth: his silence is an answer. Olivia walks away, leaving behind a man torn between his old instincts and new emotions he can't yet process. And if you've ever been in a situation where words fail you, where your silence unintentionally speaks volumes, you'll know how powerful and painful this moment is. In coaching conversations I've had with many high-performing professionals, this is a common pattern. They excel at managing external challenges, but when it comes to their own emotions, they freeze. They avoid vulnerability, thinking it's weakness. But as we see here with Ethan, avoiding feelings only deepens the pain for everyone involved. In the days following Olivia's departure, the once pristine mansion feels emptier than ever. No soft footsteps, no scent of coffee brewing, no quiet laughter or late-night conversations. And it hits Ethan not because the house is disorganized, but because the warmth Olivia brought is gone. I loved her, not for the contract, not to please my mother, for her. This is a powerful moment of self-awareness, one that many of us don't arrive at until we've lost something that mattered. Unable to shake the emptiness, Ethan searches for Olivia. He tracks her to a small apartment in another city, a far cry from the life she led in his mansion. Now think about this. This is a man used to controlling boardrooms and billion-dollar deals. Yet here he is, nervous like a lovesick teenager, standing in front of a modest door, heart pounding. It's a stark reminder that no amount of professional success can replace personal fulfillment. When Olivia opens the door, she's shocked, but Ethan doesn't waste time with grand speeches. He simply says, I'm not here for my mother. I'm not here because of a contract. I'm here for you. I love you. Now let's pause here. This is crucial. Ethan is finally doing what he avoided for so long, expressing genuine emotion without conditions, without guarantees. And that, my friends, is one of the hardest things anyone can do, especially someone used to controlling every outcome. One of my favorite real-world examples comes from a CEO client I worked with. For years, he'd kept emotions out of both his work and his marriage. But when things started falling apart at home, he finally took a leap, admitted his fears, expressed his love openly. And you know what? It transformed not just his marriage, but how he led his entire company. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the foundation of authentic connection. Back in the apartment, Olivia hesitates. Her heart wants to believe Ethan, but fear still lingers. "You don't have to do this," she says, voice trembling. "I'm not doing this because I have to." Ethan replies, "I want to. Please come back with me." After a long moment, Olivia finally nods. And in that instant, both of them know they've crossed the threshold. This is no longer a performance. This is real. Months later, a grand wedding is held at the Caldwell estate, but this time without contracts, without pretense. As Olivia stands before the mirror in her white gown, the magnitude of the journey hits her. From struggling waitress to beloved wife, not because of money or obligation, but because of love earned and trust rebuilt. Margaret enters this time with genuine warmth. "You make my son very happy," she says softly. And when Ethan takes Olivia's hand at the altar, it's a gesture full of meaning. No more lies, no more acting, only love. So what can we learn from Ethan and Olivia's story? First, love can grow in the most unexpected circumstances. What starts as a practical arrangement can reveal deep emotional truths if we're open to them. Second, vulnerability is not a weakness. It's the gateway to authentic connection. The moment Ethan dropped his defenses, everything changed. And third, small acts matter. The strawberry tarts the hand held during a fever, the late-night conversations, these are the moments that build trust and intimacy. If you've ever found yourself guarding your heart, afraid to show how you really feel, remember this story. Life's richest experiences often lie just beyond our comfort zones. And sometimes the love we didn't plan for is the love we need most. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story and its deeper lessons, hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more insightful stories about love life and what it means to be truly human.